Hey y'all, it's Susan with Susan's Country Living. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my kitchen today. It's late October and I'm starting to empty out my freezer from things that I've frozen from the summer. And one of those things is these delicious yellow tomatoes. I had lots of different varieties that I had planted and just so many that I just pop them in these freezer bags and put them in the freezer, and now I'm ready to use them for something. I have 8 of these, and so what's great about putting these in the freezer is the skins slip right off. The tomatoes are easy to peel. They're still a little bit frozen. What I do is I cut off this end. And once they're totally thawed out, I squeeze as many of the seeds out as I can and then put the pulp into a container. This one's got measurements on it. They still are a little bit frozen, but you can see how easily the skin peels right off. And I save these for the chickens or the compost pile. And if you cut them in half, see, these are still frozen, but I can just get those seeds out if you don't want them in your jam or jelly. So today we're going to be making some yellow tomato jam. And these yellow tomatoes are sweet, so I expect this to be, you know, a pretty sweet jam. So I'm going to get busy getting these tomatoes peeled and into a container that I can measure to see how much pulp I have to make my yellow tomato jam. Okay, so I've peeled and mashed up some of those tomatoes that were frozen, and I have 2 cups of those. I just mashed them down really well and drained a lot of the liquid off. And I'm using a smaller pot. Usually I use a Dutch oven top pot, but because there's only 2 cups in here, I wanted to use a smaller pot. So I have 2 cups of the crushed tomatoes in there. I took a cup of organic sugar. You could use honey, like a half a cup of honey is what the recipe called for. I have 2 teaspoons of Pomona Pectin mixed in with my sugar. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of the calcium water to the tomatoes. When you use Pomona Pectin, it comes with the calcium water mixture packet. So we're going to put 2 teaspoons in there. I've got my steam canner going here. I have my jars in the toaster oven getting hot. They're already clean. I have 1/4 cup of a bottled lemon juice. You want to use bottled lemon juice so that the acidity is just right. We're going to add that to our tomatoes. It called for lemon zest, a tablespoon of lemon zest. I didn't have any fresh lemons, but I have this granulated, dried, probably dehydrated lemon zest. So I'm going to use half a tablespoon instead of, if you were using fresh, I would use a whole tablespoon. So we're going to put half a tablespoon. Put that in there. And we're going to bring that tomatoes up to a boil. And once it's up to a boil, then we'll add our sugar with our pectin and bring it back up to a boil and get it jarred. So let's go ahead and get this going. Got my jars, lids going, and we're just going to bring that up to a boil. Okay, so our tomatoes are boiling, and we're going to add our sugar and pectin and bring it back to a boil, stirring. Once it's back to a boil, we'll boil for a minute or 2, and then it'll be time to jar it up. Okay, it's starting to come back up to a boil. As soon as it's come back to a full boil that I cannot stir down, then I'll cut it off. Okay. So I'm stirring and it is boiling. And I can feel that it's getting a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off and grab my jars out of the toaster oven. All right, we're going to fill these jars to 1/4 inch headspace. This was not quite a 1/4 inch, but that's okay. It will probably still seal just fine. So we're gonna wipe our edges here, our rim, our jar rims. Process 10 minutes in a steam canner or a boiling water bath. So we're gonna get our lids here. Your rings on just finger tight. This is my first time to ever use yellow tomatoes in a jam, so we'll see how they turn out. Let's get these in our steam canner. Bring it up to the temperature that it's supposed to be for my altitude and process 10 minutes. Okay, so the 10 minutes was up and I took the lid off and let them set there for 5 minutes, and now they're ready to come off to cool, and it looks like they've already sealed. So turned out really pretty. The yellow tomatoes almost has a peach color to it. It looks like peaches, so take those off. I tasted a little bit that was left in the pot and it was really good. You tasted the tomatoes, the little bit of the acidity, but then the sugar with the sweetness. It would be good on a peanut butter jelly sandwich, on a biscuit, but also it's like a condiment or to make a sauce for chicken or pork. Put on top of cream cheese with crackers, or just, cheese and crackers, or fruit with cheese, charcuterie, tomato jam on a charcuterie, really good because it goes really well with the sausages there. So I'll leave my recipe in the description below. It just came from a website that I looked at. And if you've got some tomatoes in the freezer from this past summer, and you're ready to do something with them and get them out of there, make it some tomato jam. Bye, y'all.